Hey, John. I think we still got people showing up, so we don't have to repeat myself. Let's give it another minute or so. I guess we just had breaking news that got a little flare up between us and Canada. Breaking news. Well, we've had a heck of a week and a good finish, and so I say, let's get started. Y'all ready to get started? Everybody type in, if you will, where you're signing in from. Carol Eccles, Mill Valley, California. Hello, Carol. Junior, Lawrenceville, Georgia. Bob, Whitefish, Montana. Claire is from Charleston. I always liked Charleston. We should go through there on our way to Spain. Joseph Blackburn, Punta Gorda. Hey, Barry, Raymond. All right, I'm gonna get started. I got a lot to cover, and I've made this 2 hours today where we wouldn't have to rush, and I could answer questions and do all that. But there's a high degree of risk involved in trading. We talk about that, and past performance is not indicative of future results. For those that are new, we got a lot of new people. I'm glad to see that. I'm a former Air Force officer, active trader, former member of Chicago Mercantile Exchange. I have 3 books, and I've worked with students since 1996. Who has my 3 books? Let me ask that question. Who has those 3 books? Anybody have the 3 books? Was it worth getting them? David just got the last 2 for his birthday. Resounding yes. They're pretty good books about trading, I think. Still current after written 25 years ago. They were looking ahead back then, you know. Well, thank y'all for purchasing them. Y'all getting over Amazon, right? You got it over Amazon? Yep. I don't talk about it as much as I used to, but I've got them behind me. I'll start reviewing it every now and then, probably some this weekend. John sort of captures what I hear a lot. Thank you, John. Maybe a copy and showing what John wrote. Hey, Stacy. Yeah, you can get it at Amazon. I would encourage you to do that. In my opinion, the market's been on a record run, and very interesting that the flare up with Canada caused a pullback, but the pullback was contained. So I think that what we'll have to do is to judge it and let it play out. Usually about a 72-hour flare up when they have these things, especially with Canada. I'm sure they'll be working to try to get something going. The flare ups over digital taxes. Okay. Everybody agreed not to do it, then Canada said they were going to do it. That's the first read. We'll see what comes out of that. I'll get into it and read it and all. Here's a question for you. Anybody ever been to a horse race? Anybody ever been to a horse race? If you had a horse in that race that won every time, would you buy a ticket to win? If you had a horse like that in a horse race? Think about that one. Take a walk down memory lane. May still hadn't got solid into the ecosystem yet, but we were 93% accurate in May. We had 3 losers, 44 total trades. Pretty good in May. What about June? Look at June 20. So we've increased our winning rate there. We got 27 winners, 0. Write this down. You may never see it again. 0 losers for the month of June. How many people took trades that we issued in June? I just want to see who made money, because we made money on everything we did. You know? Hold on 1 second. I like stopping it to look at those winners, okay? That's fun to look at, isn't it? I'm just warming up for the second half. Man, that's great. We had 100% on Sawgrass too. Jim says he took all those trades, most of all of them. Way to go, Jim. Huge success. Wait till you see. Well, here's what we did this week. We did Cisco, NVIDIA, QQQ, and XSP. Not bad, huh? Not bad at all. I love booking those profits, don't you? Here's the start of it. When I come up with 25 tickers at the start of the month, you need to follow along. We do this in our T-Buzz All-Star program, but this is where the ideas come from. We add stocks to it and maybe throw some stocks out. But this is what our algorithm said for the month. What you ought to do, just to prove it to yourself, you ought to go look at the ones we got long out to the right. And you know what? You know what you ought to do? You ought to just let it go through it manually. I'd print this off. This is a great, because we're about ready to start a new month. It works the same way every month. This is the process that we start on Monday night. It's pretty good stuff, isn't it? Kept us out of Tesla most of the month. That Oklo has been really interesting. I've been watching it. It's keep your eye on that one for going into July. All right. Joby was good too. Joby's 947. Now this is happening next month. Monday night, you got to remember this. Monday night at 6 o'clock, we start July. And that starts rolling with our E-mini. Now, one thing I'm going to add this year, or this starting, because the 24-hour trading is getting more and more part of what we do, that 8 o'clock when stocks start trading on Monday night, I'm going to record their opening there and compare it to the opening at traditional times. Don't have any idea yet if it's worth doing it, but I'm going to follow it in July because of all the people doing night trading now. Night fighters, right? And then, of course, the July 4th webinar, this is an annual event. Over 20 years, I've been doing it. I like the break between the first half of the year and the second half. That's the way I think of the year. Same way I do the weeks and all that. Tariffs will be back in focus on July the 8th. Okay? July the 8th. They've got their plan. I think they're going to execute it. 5 things to watch next week. June payrolls will come out on July the 3rd. Does everybody know what day July the 3rd is next week? You got to look at a calendar and know that, don't you? That's the first thing that we'll have. ISM on Tuesday. Non-farm manufacturing data on July the 3rd, Thursday. It's going to be an interesting week. Wednesday, July the 2nd, AD report will come out on July the 2nd. Powell's going to speak on Thursday. They're talking about a rate cut. It'd be interesting to see what he's got to say on July the 3rd, and then we'll watch Treasury yields. You notice bonds have moved up this week, and yields have moved down. Market's saying we got one coming. July 4th is the deadline set by Trump to pass hopefully get the tax and spending package set. Hopefully that goes off of July the 4th as forecasted. The 90-day tariff pause on EU and other imports ends in early July. So there's a lot of trade talk after that report. He said today that China's moving in the right direction. India's moving in the right direction. I'd like to see them lock those down. Now, here's some classes I've got scheduled. We got a class July the 14th and 15th, 1 seat left there. That's my futures class. Very successful face-to-face classes. People are loving it. I'm getting a lot of positive comments from people I've taught how to trade futures. August 4th and 5th, futures class, 4 seats left. September 22nd, 23rd. Another one got 6. That's the one's got, we'll put a push on that one. October 6th and 7th, futures class, 3 seats left. October 13th and 14th, an advanced class, 3 seats left for that one. And a futures class, December 8th and 9th, 5 seats. I added a lot of futures class I wasn't planning on doing because of demand. People have determined that maybe I'm the guy to teach you about futures. What do you say to that? Am I the guy to teach you about futures? We had a nice trade last night in futures first. Who made that trade last night? I'm just curious. I know a lot of people gave me a thumbs up. Who made that trade last night? Isn't that nice to start your day out when people wake up in the morning to be, doing your thing? Huh? Isn't that nice? Yeah, it was a nice trade. Roger says, I'm the guy. I have some up, my one-on-ones are pretty well booked up when I offer the dates. That's the dates that were pretty well filled up the rest of the year. If anybody's interested in one-on-one, I probably could squeeze one in December. So if you're interested, you ought to talk to Kelly Barber at DTI Trader, or you ought to talk to Andraka at DTI Trader. And I'll probably do one more in December, is what I'm thinking. I think that's going to happen. Any questions about the one-on-one? Very lucrative, okay? Jim, it's $10,000 for the 2 days. But we trade together, and with me sitting there with you, you could be a lot more aggressive. Know what I mean? Carol's a prime example. She could be anyway. Carol's had that knack of being down here when the markets are really paying. Been good. But talk to Kelly Barber. Talk today to Kelly Barber or to Andraka. We'll finish up December. That's just the way it'll be. I like one-on-ones. We have a lot of fun doing it, Of course, I got to trade because that's the beautiful thing about it. David said, I think he captured when I said that I could teach him how to trade futures, he was skeptical. A lot of people talk a game, right? But after taking my futures first education, he says I'm the best of the best. He got on my good side with that statement. Folks, I know how to teach it. I know how to take people that are inexperienced or experienced and show them what I would say the way to make futures pay. And I think it's been a big success. And based on what people tell me, they love it. It's grown from 10 people to over 170 people. 170 people in the last year have taken it. So it's quite smart to have it. Like on that holiday we got coming up, I think it's July the 3rd, right? July the 3rd, futures is going to be open. Okay? Roger said I taught him how to trade futures during a hurricane. That's true. He was down here on a one-on-one, and we worked on futures during that time period. Good to know around hurricanes too, right? Yep. I love futures. Obviously, today. At the first of the month, I asked all my people in my futures first, how would you like me to do something on advance? And I debated it with myself. Should I really do this extra work? It's a lot of extra work. Then I got to thinking the results have been so good with my futures first education. I said I might as well have an advanced class. And I said, well, how can I do it? So I did, with the second half of the year being so important, I said, maybe I'll do it during July. Okay. And so I decided to offer the advanced education during July. And I got a great curriculum to make sure it's well worth your time to do it. And let me tell you what I've got planned. Okay. There's risk involved in trading. There's all the risk and risk disclaimer. It's risk in anything you do if you don't know what you're doing, I think. That's a good way to think about it. You got to learn, educate yourself. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to have 5 master classes on advanced futures trading. One of the master classes is going to teach people how to get the numbers to trade the different markets they want to trade. I do that every day. Like right now, for today, I can look up there. I've got the numbers that pay. These numbers are important. Here it is right here. I got T-squares for every market I'm trying to trade with the numbers. I'm going to teach you how to do it. I'm going to let technology show you. We got great technology. I'm going to show you how technology can make your job a lot easier. When I learned it, I'll show people do that. That includes obviously using our MTI by DTI, using our roadmap, and it also includes whatever platform you're using for futures. I'll show you how to squeeze that platform. And maybe I'll introduce a platform to you that you might want to use because it's got the lowest cost of anything I found out there on transactions. Okay, so I'll do that and let the technology do the work. I will show people how to target 3 distinct times during the day that I trade futures when they set up. And I'll give a plan for July to take advantage of it. This is going to be a big class. I'm going to do it. Like I said, I decided to do it after all the demand people talk. Take me further. I said, okay, let's go further. The first class, you got to know how to manage money in a futures account. I'll show you what I do and how to do that. Okay? Then gathering those numbers of that master class. Every day you'll have that sheet. We'll do it for you during July, teach you how to do it for yourself, and then letting technology do the work. The key times each day, the best futures trades that set up, time-wise. Doesn't mean they all set up every day, but that's when you got to look during the day. And then I will develop a cheat sheet for 24-hour setups for you. That'll be the last class. That way you'll have something printed off that you can sit there and use to take advantage. This is so valuable. I'm telling you, it took me years to come up with this stuff. I'm going to give it to you. I'm going to give it to you as part of this Futures First Advanced Education. Who's excited about this so far? You asked for it. Are you excited? I'm getting excited talking about it. I'm getting a lot of people in there saying I'm excited. That's good. All right. And we'll record everything for you, okay? If you had to miss 1 or 2 classes, we'll do that. Now, my goal is to teach you how to maximize your education daily. What I'm going to teach you is things I learned that will maximize the market for you. I'll show you the power of leverage, when to do one vehicle versus another, like options versus actual futures themselves. And then I'm going to spend a little time showing you how to maximize your trading account and reduce your fees at the same time. I think the fees that most of people charge is a little bit high. I found a broker that I've been using for years. I think I'm going to introduce that to people in this class. Also, this got me, I've been telling you I'm going to call you on the IRA retirement account. I'm going to show you, I set my account up today in my IRA, how you can do futures inside an IRA. Are y'all aware y'all can do that? Do futures inside an IRA? Well, I'm going to show you how to take that futures inside an IRA and let you grow your futures account. That's who I set it up with, Tasty Trade. So If you're interested, make sure I give you the link for Tasty Trade, okay? Because they will let you do it at, it's very smooth. I got approved today, filled it out this morning, and they're easy to get approved, nothing to it. I talked to the guy this morning at 9. I get my approval starting Monday. Not bad. That's big, folks, for people that have retirement accounts. That's why I've been talking about it. Giving 5 setups for around-the-clock trading. You'll have it. Again, part of that cheat sheet approach. Now, I've never offered anything like this in my 40-year career before. I may never offer it again. I'm just telling you. I spent a whole month putting this thing together, thinking about the best way to deliver what I'm trying to do to make sure you get value. This is for July only, that month. Here it is. And I'm only taking a certain number, so pay attention. $497 for the entire month. We only accept 100 applications. If you're a medallion or gold, I'm giving you 50% off. Call 904-706-3532. This is advanced futures. Advanced futures. You asked me to do it, so here it is. Take one of those spots. Tell me if you're going to take one of the spots where I can count it down and pull the offer, okay? We're only going to do 100. They're coming in. Yeah, this is online. This is online. Yep. Yeah, Bob, you can trade futures at night with Tasty Trade. I do it all the time. Carrie says, count me in. This is perfect for you, Carrie, isn't it? Get signed up. I have Adam total it up. I'm only going to take 100, okay? Only going to take 100. Again, this is it. Carol, the class, I posted today, there's 5 different special classes during the month. We'll go back to that slide real quick. Let me go back. John, can you go back to the class dates for Carol? There's the class dates, Carol. I'll record everything. You asked for it, so I said, do I really want to do this? And then I got to thinking about the second half of the year. No better way to keep you up to speed on that while I'm teaching these classes. So 5 master classes during the month. Futures first. Yeah, it is, Stephen. I'll explain why. I think with Tasty Trade, it's a lot easier to get approved for your retirement account, and they have options. Ninja Trader doesn't have options. They used to, they don't anymore. Don, you should have, by clicking that link. Adam, how did the gold and medallion get their discount? How do you do that? If you're, yeah, Eddie, reach out to Andraka at DTI Trader or Barbara at DTI Trader. No, they don't on this, Polly. Okay. I did the best I could. I wanted to say thank you to all the medallions of gold because that's not included in their program. I said I'm going to give them a discount, 50%. That's our gold medallion people. It's half off is what it is. So. No, this is not included with futures first. That's the foundational futures. This is advanced futures. What this is. It's a whole different level, Polly. I think everybody's going to be in, so I think the 100 will be gone. We'll see. I'll have to total it up and see. But anyway, I want to make sure you had a shot at it today. Jonathan, why don't you put a timer up there? Why don't you put about a 15-minute timer? I'll come back and we'll get to other things in our wrap up. Jonathan, is Jeffrey here or Kelly here?
Looks like we got Jeffrey here today, this afternoon. Tom, Jeffrey Andraka is here in the room.
Yeah, Jeffrey will take care of it. He's getting overloaded here, but put your name and email and phone number where Jeffrey can get a hold of you to make sure you get one of these spots, okay? If you just, if you're a gold or medallion, you want to do that, okay? Don says, I want my discount. Put your phone number in there, Don. Well, anytime I teach, Skip, I answer it this way. If you'll listen and learn, I'm going to teach you how I do it. And at the end of this, you're going to have a cheat sheet that I'll go over in detail, okay? I like a cheat sheet. I like a checklist, and I got a checklist I'm going to teach at the end of this. So your graduation present will be that cheat sheet. You'll post it right there on your computer and look anytime you want to trade it. It'll tell you how to do it, steps that are involved. And I'll make sure you understand those steps through the masterclass. Just ask anybody about how deliberate I am doing that. Hey, Oscar. Go back to that slide that I said where I said this is never offered this before. Go back to that slide real quick. Never offered this before, and I may never offer it again. I'm doing it because the stars aligned because of the second half of the year. So take one of these spots if you want it. Dave says he's in. Okay, good. All right, you bring back up your timer. I think, would it be too much to ask you to play Danger Zone?
Yeah, it will be time. We have YouTube going.
Oh, okay, don't do it then.
Yep.
All right, what I'm going to do, I'll answer questions I see you post in there. Frank says, I'm in. Sacramento is represented on this class. Hey, Fred. Hey, Fred, that one-on-one you had with me in July, I'm glad that you had it booked because I had 3 people that wanted that class. You were first, you got credit. Always pays to be first. Y'all remember at the first of the month where I said, who's interested in learning some advanced futures? And everybody said, I want to learn, I want to learn. And that inspired me. So I thought about it all month long. I said, I'm going to do it this morning when I woke up. I decided I'm going to do it. All right, I'll be back in 9 minutes where everybody gets signed up. Type in if you're signed in. Yeah, what we're going to do, we're going to go to a live market and I'm going to evaluate it for you in 10 minutes. Show you what it's saying going into next week. Mary, why don't you put your phone number in here and I'll call you and tell you how to handle that, okay? Just put your phone number in there, Mary, and I'll give you a call and tell you how to handle it. Did you hear me? Oscar, put your phone number in there and we'll make sure he gets a hold of you, okay? Jonathan, make sure Jonathan or Jeffrey gets a hold of Oscar, will you? Take care of him, okay? Can you answer me?
Yeah, Tom. Here you
Okay,
go.
yeah. Jeffrey's backed up, obviously, he'll be busy. Okay, Mary's number got away, I gotta write it down. 221520. Okay, perfect. In the Telegram channel there, Polly. Oscar, he's wanting you to type your phone number and make sure you get taken care of. All right, let's do this in 40 seconds. Let's go to a live market. And do we take care of everybody that needed help over signing up? Yeah, Phelps, I'll give you a call. I'll tell you how to do it. You call Mary first and you second. John, I'll make sure Kelly knows. Jonathan is Kelly she might be at a tournament. Okay.
I'll pass the word along, Tom.
Yes, Robin, you do. This is advanced futures. 1 month starting according to that schedule. Okay. All right, let me talk to you about the market. You've heard me talk about news. And you also got to know about Fridays. If you look at the market, we went to 62.39. Does everybody see that? 62.39. John, can you circle that up there? The first breakdown occurred by breaking Genesis. Circle the bottom of that red bar there. That's parallel to Genesis. And that was about 29, 69.29. That news occurred somewhere between that high and 29. When the news came out, you had to know that kind of news would bring selling in, especially on a Friday. Okay? You had to know that. And so you should have been hedging up things at that time. All right? Now the market fell and broke RB4. See where it broke RB4 right there? Showing where it broke RB4. So the market right now is trying to find a bottom, but it reversed. And the next time you got to really look hard at markets at 3:30 when we get to the closing bell. But this was pretty well telegraphed this was going to happen. You remember me first coming on and telling you that there was a flare up on trade with Canada? Remember me saying that? Okay. If you see anything like this, it's better to go to the sidelines and let the news settle because it's going to end up being a buying opportunity. It's just not a buying opportunity now. Does everybody understand what I'm saying? We're still up for the week, right? If you go look at the weekly open, we opened the week, what, at 59.64? All this is going to do is pull the percent down gaining in June that would have been up there. That's all this is going to do. Okay? That's the E-mini. Now I'm going to show you the power of the E-mini over a stock that's very bullish. NVIDIA, put NVIDIA in there. Almost looks the same way, doesn't it? Looks the same way that the E-mini looks, right? Everybody see that? Does everybody see it? Okay. So that's what we're seeing here with NVIDIA and the E-mini. Now, if you have long positions on during this time period, you ought to be thinking, how did I hedge those long positions? Or you might take some profit and re-enter later on, you know. But the point being is it was telegraphed. It was very well telegraphed. That's the importance of the reference part. And what I want Jonathan to do, we have white papers for you to review over the weekend. It's very important you learn these times. He'll post that in there. You ought to go through those white papers. And next week, when I do a train and trade, if you got any questions, you ought to ask. Okay? You also ought to, I think, make sure that you're a member of my newsletter. It goes out on Monday afternoon. That's going to be very valuable this week. It's only $9.99. Jonathan posted a link in there. Okay? But the point I'm trying to make is you've got to be aware. John, I would prefer, if you didn't catch that move up there where I did, I would prefer to wait to 3:30, which is another 35 minutes, and let that bar fill, because it could bounce back a little bit, or If you hedge yourself, just do positions on hers. Like if you long a call, you'll sell a call. That's what I'm talking about. Okay. If you got a stock, maybe sell next Friday's call that you'd be okay with them calling it away. That's how you hedge yourself on this kind of move. Because I honestly don't think this is going to be long lasting. However, you can see the rapid drop in NVIDIA. It was up at 57, solid as a rock, and NVIDIA's at 55. And I look across my ETR line. Jonathan, bring up an ETR line and show him how valuable the roadmap is to see this. This is so important. This is what I noticed when I saw the news. Look at this ETR line. E-mini's negative, NASDAQ's negative, Dow's negative, crude oil's negative, gold turned positive, bonds are neutral, and NVIDIA went negative. I keep this up all the time. You could look at SQQ, but I'd be careful, Carol. It had to be a short-term trade. Might not be worth your time. I'd rather be on the sidelines personally during these times period. But if you can't be on the sidelines, you sell calls. This will typically turn in my estimation, to a buy signal. Maybe it happens Monday or whatever. But the bottom line is we got some big news next week. We got the start of a new month. And I just think that would be smart to do it that way. Okay. Any questions about what we're seeing? Now, Jonathan, do we have any slides for this section? When are you going to highlight some of the education stuff like that this month?
Train and trade.
I don't understand. Okay.
Let's see here. Have I added that yet? I'm not sure I added that yet, Tom. Take a little break, come back and have it.
Yeah, why don't we take a 10-minute break and come back, and what I want to do is, we know news next week. We know the turn here at the end of the month. I mean, goodness gracious, you're up for the month on the QQQ, you're up 5%. So if you gave back 1%, not that big a deal. My guess is that you'll see buying step in as early as Monday night. But again, it's always good, if you didn't recognize it up there on the turn, it's always good to have covered calls against your stocks and all that, okay? And, Carol said you could buy the SQQQ, but you got to be careful there, because I don't know if there's going to be a lot more, because you're getting down to a pretty good support number. I think let me read you my number I think I had, let me go to that. I had one of my numbers today on it. Yeah, I had 6178 is a key number. That's about 10 points lower in here. The news was there's a flare up between Canada and the U.S. on trade. That's the news. I think bigger news is the following. Do they get this bill done by next Thursday? That's bigger news. That's bigger news. All right, we'll come back in 10 minutes and try to do a look ahead and things to think about. Sunday night's big. I can tell you that right now. Sunday night's big. If you got any questions, ask, and I'll be glad to answer them when I come back in 10 minutes. John, if you need to turn on the timer. Yeah, Cherry, just talk to, who do you work with, Jeffrey, or you work with Kelly? Just tell him what you want. Oscar, put your phone number in there and I will call you. All right, folks, train and trade Monday from 11 to 2, okay? 11 to 2. The first 30 minutes of train and trade is going to cover options and questions about options. Jonathan will cover that. Then I'll come in and I'll do the curriculum for Monday. Everybody got that for this Monday? All right. That's on Monday, June 30th. Here's what I've covered so far this month. We dove deep into the roadmap. We got recordings for that. We got using MTI by DTI with the roadmap, okay? And we got that. So we got a bunch of stuff going there, okay? We covered the 24-hour market and the Seven Sisters. There's great recordings there. John, now how would they get these recordings if they wanted to go watch the education? Just watch Train and Trade? Or is that the way to do it, or what?
Go to the YouTube channel, dtitwitter.com/YouTube. It's all posted there.
Okay, so go to dtitrader.com/YouTube and put these topics in there and they'll find them.
Yeah, you can search train and trade. You can do that. You could also probably just click the live tab.
Hit the live tab. Does everybody understand that on YouTube? Real quick and dirty way to go find this stuff. Okay. Great lessons here. You ought to go watch it. All right, what else? The Genesis Hour. Did you see how I referred to Genesis today, where that top was made? That's the importance of Genesis, knowing about that hour and how to integrate that in with the day's trade. That was my warning. When we broke Genesis, I got on alert. I didn't see any news, but I got on alert, okay? That's what happened. This is a great educational tape inside YouTube. Take a look at it. There's the train and trade Monday, 11 o'clock to 2. So show up and we'll cover some other good topics. For people new to options, we're going to spend a little time at the very first of this session talking about simple options, okay? No, it wasn't, Dave. You need to get somebody to explain it to you. You're making a conclusion and you got to look at the whole picture. Here's the question. What you expect if the market's going up during Genesis? Prior to that time, you already expect a reversal and a top. That's exactly what happens. Sometimes it happens right at Genesis, sometimes 20 or 30 minutes later. Once it broke the low of Genesis, trade on. We have David, we have a Telegram channel. Once you sign up for the weekly trade letter, it tells you how to get in. You get an invite into that Telegram channel where we post it. Real simple. Okay. What else, Jonathan?
That's it, Tom. We've had 3 sessions. Looking forward to more.
All right, folks. Be there Monday. It's going to be a win. It's going to be a good one. Try to show up Monday. All right, let's go back to the advanced futures education slide. I had a couple people were going to open accounts at Tasty Trade. Make sure you send Roe at DTI Trader an email and he'll give you the link. I guess that's the way to do it. It's probably DTI Trader. What is this? who referred you, DTI Trader or DTI, or I don't know. He's got a link that they gave us. Everybody got it? No, Julie, it's the weekly newsletter is a separate channel. It's $9.99 a year. The newsletter is, okay? $9.99. All right, guys. There's the deal for Futures First. We'll take 100 people. So margins are about the same, but the cost is less. Yeah, go back to the advanced future schedule for people. All right, folks, y'all have a great weekend. I'll see you Sunday night. Julie, send an email to Row at DTI Trader and set it up. Okay? ROWE at DTI Trader. Enjoyed being with everybody. Great week, great month. Sunday night will be big. I have a whole bunch more education and stuff for you, so I'll see you there. Y'all have a good night. Jonathan, thank you, and we're off to the next stop.
Sounds good, Tom. Thank you.